On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, find out about planned improvements to the O'Fallon I-70 corridor, learn how history is kept alive in a little log cabin on the north side of town, and meet a local high school basketball team with a winning chemistry. These stories and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to this episode of O'Fallon Matters. The City of O'Fallon has two bond issues that will appear on the April 8, 2014 ballot. Here are the facts on Propositions J and P.
On April 8th, O'Fallon voters will be asked to decide on two ballot issues that will help to shape the future of O'Fallon: Proposition J and Proposition P. If approved by the voters, these two propositions will allow O'Fallon to issue bonds for the construction of a new Justice Center, improvements to Civic Park, including a new Civic Hall and expanded Alligators Creek, and the construction of a brand new passive park off of Highway DD called O'Day Park.
The cost of these new projects total $52.73 million, and the city would need to issue bonds to pay for the construction of these facilities. Those bonds would be tied to a property tax increase, and the bonds must be approved by the voters of O'Fallon.
Proposition J asks voters to approve the construction of a new Justice Center in the city of O'Fallon. If approved, the Justice Center will provide the city with a centrally located 21st century police and courts facility that will meet the needs of the city for decades to come.
When the O'Fallon Police Station opened as part of the current City Hall complex in 1999, the city of O'Fallon was approximately 1/4 of the size that it is today. At that time, even the most optimistic projections called for the city's population to grow to 60,000 residents by 2015. Today, of course, O'Fallon's population is nearly 82,000 residents, and it's only expected to increase over the next 40 years.
This growth means that the O'Fallon Police Department has had to expand at a much faster pace than was anticipated. The department has outgrown its current home and needs more space to meet the needs of the community, both now and in the future.
The new facility also would provide a permanent home for the city's municipal court, which presently meets in a temporary setting in a City Hall meeting room.
Proposition P will allow for the completion of two significant parks and recreation projects: improvements to Civic Park, including a new Civic Hall and expanded Alligators Creek Aquatic Center, and the construction of a brand new park off of Highway DD called O'Day Park.
These parks and recreation projects will allow the department to expand recreational opportunities on both the city's north and south sides, and will increase the amount of parkland in the city by more than 10%.
In 2001, a local family donated 55 acres of land off of Highway DD, just southwest of the movie theater, to the city for the purpose of building a park on the city's south side. The land, now dubbed O'Day Park, offers the city the potential for a beautiful passive park with nature trails and walking paths, a unique adventure-themed playground, an amphitheater, a zip line, and a lodge for meetings, banquets, and other recreational programs.
For many people, parks provide the only opportunity to connect with nature. The natural beauty and rolling terrain of the land means that the new O'Day Park would allow residents to experience nature and get away from it all while still being close to home. The trails and walking paths will provide fitness opportunities while surrounded by the great outdoors. and the amphitheater will provide opportunities for a myriad of events or even an outdoor wedding.
As the oldest park in O'Fallon and a key component of O'Fallon's historic downtown area, Civic Park serves as the heart of our city. Home to Alligators Creek Aquatic Center, countless O'Fallon children and families have spent their summers enjoying all that Civic Park has to offer.
Unfortunately, in 2012, another Civic Park building, Civic Hall, had to be demolished due to an aging infrastructure. The loss of Civic Hall means the city is in great need for meeting and recreational space. The Civic Park improvements that voters will consider include a new Civic Hall that both honors the past glory of the building and meets the needs of future generations. We also will be expanding the very crowded Alligators Creek Aquatic Center with a new larger lazy river, an open swim area, and great new water features and a splash pad.
If these projects are approved by the voters, there would be an increase in the city's property tax rate. To see how this would impact you as a resident, estimate your home value and then use the following chart to determine the increase. To give you an idea, the average home in O'Fallon costs $200,000. The owner of a $200,000 home would see their property taxes increase by $58 a year.
Thank you for your time. We encourage you to research these propositions carefully over the next few weeks and to study these issues. If you need more information, take a look at our website at o'fallon.mo.us or just call or email our communications director, Tom Drabell. And whatever you decide, please make sure to vote in April.
Now let's find out about a group of O'Fallon history buffs with a mission to preserve and protect O'Fallon history for future generations. Here's Brett Figgis with their story.
O'Fallon's story, like that of St. Louis to the west, is one of migration, as a constant influx of travelers and immigrants alike decided to call the area home throughout the years. That's been true since the late 1790s, when settlers from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia flowed into St. Charles County in search of fur trading, new land, and new opportunities. And it's just as true today, as highways like I-70 have helped O'Fallon grow into the 7th largest city in Missouri. And here in O'Fallon, there's one organization dedicated to tracing this history and preserving our heritage.
Well, the O'Fallon Historical Society is just an organization of people who are interested in O'Fallon's history and want to preserve all the things that, the information, the artifacts, et cetera, that tell that story.
You know, we go back, all the way back to 1856, or even before that, if you want to go back to the Zumwalts when they got here in the late 1700s. It needs preserved. We like to show it off, and that's what we are. We're mainly a group of old O'Fallon people.
The formation of the Historical Society happened almost by accident. In 1972, a log cabin dating back to the mid-1800s was discovered within the shell of a white farmhouse slated for destruction. Within 2 years, the O'Fallon Historical Society was founded to remove the log cabin piece by piece and relocate it in Civic Park. This discovery would become the crown jewel of the Historical Society, their log cabin museum.
This cabin, that's where the community came together, and literally they took it down piece by piece and numbered each log and put it together. It's not 100% representation of the way it looked, because there was not a fireplace in the cabin. That fireplace stone actually came from the footings and foundations. That's where that fireplace came from. But this represents the early settlers of the American moving west.
Everything that's in here is from someone in O'Fallon, so that means all the furnishings in the front 2 rooms that depict life in a log cabin, as well as the items that are in the back of the museum, the actual museum portion.
We have a lot of just regular items, and that's what people are surprised when they come in here. We have hair dryers from the early 1900s. We have beds that came out here on covered wagons. You know, the table up front was late 1800s. So we have music boxes, or we have a pair of glasses. We're probably 1800s. They look like bottle cap glasses, if you ever heard that phrase. They're over there. So we have a lot of stuff that shows how people lived in this area all the way back to the 1800s. And we're really proud of that.
And whether you're interested in 1850 or 1950, the Historical Society is something that's sure to be right up your alley. Ready to take a step back in time? Consider touring the museum.
Typically, we'll have tours come in during the year. We have Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, and a lot of times during the summertime, we open it up on Sundays. We try to get people coming through the park to come in.
It's one of those things, if somebody calls or emails us or texts us or gets a hold of us and say, hey, can we see it? Yeah, we're gonna come down here and open it up. We really enjoy it. And with the Scout troops, you have the 6-year-olds up to 10-year-old. They're absolutely fascinated, and it's really, it's fun to see those kids go, wow, this is my town, you know, and say stuff like that.
Of course, the museum, the tours, and everything else the Society does are all in service of their primary goal.
One of our main goals is to preserve history. The stuff we have in here are through photographs for future generations. O'Fallon, as you know, has grown tremendously in the last 20 years. The kids that are coming up now call O'Fallon home. They will want to show off what their history was, and we're trying to preserve that.
The O'Fallon Historical Society meets 4 times a year at the Log Cabin Museum in Civic Park. If you've got an interest in history, consider joining. New members are always welcome, and you can get more info at www.o'fallonmohistory.org.
It's time for a break. When we come back, we'll have some good advice that can help you in the event you're the victim of identity theft. Also, we'll meet up with a local basketball team that is tearing up the hardwood. Stay with us for O'Fallon Matters. Welcome back to O'Fallon Matters. Have you experienced traffic delays around Interstate 70 through O'Fallon? There's a new project that is working to make traffic flow better, safer, and more efficient.
Big improvements are coming to I-70 and its outer roads and interchanges. And if your daily commute is affected by the general congestion and rush hour traffic, you're going to be pretty excited by what our engineers have in mind. Imagine being able to flow on and off the highway without hitting a traffic light, or even switching directions entirely without ever stopping your car. When the Traffic Flow Improvements project is complete, you won't have to imagine it any longer, and congestion at T.R. Hughes, Highway K, and Bryan Road will be a thing of the past.
This project is being done to correct a lot of traffic problems through O'Fallon as well as along I-70. So originally we looked at over 20, close to 25 plans just to correct the interchange at I-70 and K. Since that time we've kind of taken a step back and looked at how can we also correct and plan for the future. So with that, the scope expanded over from T.R. Hughes to I-70 and K all the way out to Bryan Road. So we looked at more of the corridor as a whole and how we can not just correct one interchange, but how we can correct all three interchanges as well as areas in between.
O'Fallon's rapid expansion and many successful businesses have led to a little traffic congestion along 70, and this timely traffic improvement project will ensure our growth potential for years to come.
Traffic is a good thing until it reaches a point where you're waiting through multiple signals and you can't get in and out of places. You can't get to a restaurant, can't get to a gas station, and then business goes down and people avoid those areas and go to other locations. So it's important to have good traffic flow now as well as in the future, and that's what we're doing. We're planning for not only now, but for 30 years out.
Our project involves installing a system that has worked in many other growing municipalities. Our outer roads will be converted into one-way roads, allowing traffic to move quickly on or off the highway at multiple points. Texas U-turns will be installed to allow you to quickly move in either direction, switching over from the eastbound side to westbound or vice versa. This will better use our outer roads and keep traffic from bottlenecking at interchanges.
Yeah, our long-term and basically the plan we're at now is to utilize the outer roads. Right now they're very underutilized. You drive along 70, sitting in traffic in the morning or the afternoons, and you look over to the side roads and there's nobody on the outer roads. So you have a good system in place as it stands right now. This plan involves utilizing that system more efficiently.
If you're interested in more information about this project, please visit www.ofallon.mo.us/TFP.
The Fort Zumwalt girls basketball program just continues to win. Here's Joe Meyer with their story.
The Fort Zumwalt West girls basketball team is off to another hot start in 2014. And there is no stopping this talented group of skilled basketball players. The Lady Jaguars have been ranked in the top 10 in the Post-Dispatch large school rankings for much of the season. This year's team features 3 talented captains that are helping to pave the way for a huge season.
I bring a lot of experience to the team since, I'm one of the leaders and I'm the oldest one. So I think that the team can take a lot of cues from me since I've been in a lot of these positions. And
I'm the one who pushes everyone and makes our team better so that we keep working hard and that we don't slack off in practice, because if we do, then we'll slack off in games, and that's just not what we need.
On the court, I try to lead by example and try to make plays so that they can get more confidence in order to be able to do more plays and stuff too. So I think that helps them.
You may think that this team's talent may be a high shooting percentage or stifling defense, but the real strength is their unity on and off the court.
On the court, we have chemistry. They're able to see one another. They make really great passes. They work the ball around, and we're able to score in a variety of different ways. And I also think that off the court, we have this great chemistry as well. So the girls work together, and they trust one another, and that shows on the court.
Coach Kruger is the leader that stabilizes the Lady Jags basketball team, plus the girls really look up to her.
Being able to trust your coach just as much as you trust your players and being so close with her definitely helps me become a better player because it gives me more confidence, which makes me better.
Coach is honestly like my pick-me-up. She's picked up my confidence so much, and when I'm down, she's the first one to be there to pick me up and tell me to keep shooting or keep driving to the basket if I do happen to miss or airball.
My coaching style is a lot like my teaching style. I'm a teacher first, and I like to build the relationships with my players, and I think it's really important that I get to know each player on an individual level, and then that allows me to talk to them however they need to be talked to. And then they can trust me, and they listen to me, and they do what I ask them to because they end up trusting me.
The sky is the limit for this team. They are on a big run and look to keep their momentum going, so they're peaking just in time for districts.
We're looking to get as far as we can go, and we've had a very successful year this far, and we're doing much better now than we were at this point last year. And so I think that our future is very positive.
Well, in districts, we're going to see Francis Howell, but they're a very, very good team, and they're very young, and they're going to compete every single time they come out. And when we play them in districts, it'll be the 3rd time that we play them. So I see them as our initial step. And then on from there, I mean, it really just, there are a ton of teams in the St. Louis area. It's very balanced this year, and so I see any team able to step up on any given night and give us a challenge.
Keep your eye on the Fort Zumwalt West girls basketball team. They have a great chance to make a strong playoff run in 2014.
The best protection from identity theft is preparation. Here are some tips that can help prevent you from being the victim of a fraud.
Imagine someone posing as you and taking over your bank account, using your credit card, going on vacation, and sticking you with the bills. Did you know an estimated 10 million Americans became victims of identity theft this past year? Residents need to be aware of the different types of identity theft and how they can prevent from being a victim.
Most of the types of identity theft that we see are credit card fraud with existing accounts, or someone applying for a credit card using the victim's name, social security number, date of birth.
It's important to protect yourself from identity theft by being vigilant about how you use your credit cards.
I would say credit card fraud is what we see most of. People somehow getting someone's credit card number, using it to make purchases on the web. Occasionally you will see it in the store. Most of the time when we do see it in the store, it does occur somewhere else in the country.
So what are some tips residents can use to keep their credit cards safe?
The biggest thing you can do is try not to hand your credit card over to someone where you can see where it's being swiped. Most places here in O'Fallon stores, you can actually swipe the card yourself at the point of sale. As far as home, the biggest thing is shredding statements, pre-sorted mail that you get for pre-approved credit cards. Some of those do contain checks in them if you already have a credit card with that particular company. People do go through mailboxes and do go through trash cans. I mean, how many times do we sit there and shred our mail that we just, oh, this is just junk mail, and throw it in the trash? So the biggest thing is just being very careful with that. And if you shop online, making sure you're on a secure site and not just putting your number out there for people to get.
What should you do if you think you are a victim of identity theft?
The first thing you need to do is you need to call the credit card company or the bank and make sure that they're aware of it, dispute the charge, and get that account or that card closed or canceled. Once you do that, no more charges can be made, and they can start their processes of getting your money back and starting their investigation. The next thing you need to do is you need to file a police report. It's good to have copies of statements, any receipts if you can get those from the credit card company or your bank. That helps us in the investigation and trying to determine where this charge was made and maybe determining how your information was compromised. Most people don't know how or when it was compromised.
O'Fallon's Detective Bureau realizes that identity theft is a growing concern in the community, and they've been working hard every day to protect our residents.
I am contacting each of our victims and making sure that they're taking the necessary steps to prevent any more. I also talk to someone with postal inspectors who is in charge of the identity theft task force regularly and kind of try to keep up on any new trends or scams that may be coming. Reminding people to check their credit and check their financial statements frequently, and requesting copies of their credit report is another big thing too, because you do get one free credit report every year, and then if you are a victim of identity theft, most of the 3 credit bureaus will give you a free credit report to double check that.
To combat the crime and put information and tools at residents' disposal as quickly as possible, the O'Fallon Police Department has created a webpage that can help you prevent identity theft, report crimes, and minimize damage. Learn more about identity theft by visiting www.o'fallon.mo.us/pd/identity-theft.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@o'fallon.mo.us. Please remember to give back to your community, because O'Fallon matters to all of us.